Hello, check. Happy spring. Hello.
All right, we're just gonna put this away. Okay, good.
I don't know if you guys are anything like I am, but when I try to get technology to work for me, it just doesn't. So it's just kind of proof that sometimes things just aren't your fault and they're not going to work even how hard you try. So I don't know if you guys are like, you try to put forth a lot of effort and things just happen. Strings break, we got a broken cello, you know, and no matter how hard the kids work, you just have to say, you know what, that's okay, everything's going to be all right. So thank you guys for coming. I know it's probably hard to get you guys from your regular schedule to come here to this concert. I promise to make it short and sweet. I hope that you will enjoy it. So at the end of the concert, I'd love to meet you if I haven't already, and I hope that you enjoyed this first group as the 6th grade orchestra and middle school. So thank you for being here, and here we go. Maybe I could get this again, maybe.
My kids know I can talk loud, so, and I mean, when I say my kids, I'm talking about yours. And so I'm just going to attempt to do that. Can everybody hear me okay? Okay, good. So, I have, when I was in orchestra, I just thought that it's very highly motivating to be in a large ensemble. It's also very hard to be in a small ensemble. So I've combined several groups. There's not really one group here that, except for the 6th grade, that did a phenomenal job, and the high school that's really playing by themselves. They all can, they've all proven that they can, but some of the bigger music that like really sounds like authentic string stuff really requires a big orchestra. So that's kind of what we've done. That's the idea behind combining them. This group is a combined 7th and 8th grade group. This group also went to concert festival. This group's been to one so far, and we're going to be going again on, I think we're performing on Saturday morning. Miss Lee and all that at the middle school that works with us really put all that together. Just put the information in my hand, I gave it, and I really haven't had time to look at it myself. So I think that's what we're doing on Saturday. But this group has received an excellent rating, which is a really good rating. And they have 3 ratings. It can be more than 3 actually, but they have a superior rating, an excellent rating, a good rating, and then you can get down to fair and poor, which I've never even seen a fair and poor rating. But an excellent rating, what it doesn't mean is that the kids did okay. Because what happens is they have college professors who, when, if you guys have or remember this, they don't have subjective opinions. They have objective opinions. And they say, you did this right, you did this right, you did this wrong, you did this wrong, and this is the fair rating that you receive. But when you teach the kids all year long and you see where they come from, you have a subjective opinion. And last year we had judges that were all high school teachers and were not removed away from knowing what the kids were doing. And they received pretty good marks in the excellent rating, which means to me that they did really well, and it's not anything to be ashamed of. Because I think sometimes if we always get superior, we always get that top mark, everything else disappointing. And that just makes us know what we have to work toward, you know what I mean? So I'm proud of what the kids have done. I'm proud of the progress. We're going in the right direction. This week it's going to be fun to see how we do. The majority of this group is going to be going with us on our trip. And by the way, if I forget, if you have any questions about that, see me after the program and we'll talk about it. If you're nervous about having your kids go, I completely understand, and I'll give you a vote too. So this is probably one of the first orchestra trips I've taken in about 10 years, and my wife hasn't gone to take care of me while I take care of them, so I'm kind of nervous. So, this is again the combined 7th and 8th grade group. They're going to play, perform right now, the phonetic Wing Tail.
Wonder if I take this thing off. This short won't be there. Okay. While they're transitioning in, I also wanted to tell you that the high school has performed a concert festival twice. One at the South Carolina version of a concert festival, and then they did a Carowinds concert festival. And I want to show you their awards.
All right. They give us these plaques every year so that I can put these and display those in school. And this one's the one for the high school with the South Carolina Concert Festival. It's not really called a festival anymore, it's called state assessment. So what you need to, what you can understand about state assessment, it's kind of like your child taking the standardized test. So for the music education world, every time we do a concert festival, that's what we're really doing. We're being assessed as a program on a set of literature. This is the one from the high school for the same concert festival. This is the one that we received at the Carowinds Concert Festival. So we basically got the same rating. It's a thing they call it silver. I guess they just want to be different. But again, I'm very pleased with the progress of the kids, and I'm really happy about these ratings. Myself, I'm kind of competitive. I'm like, I want superior, but that's okay. That's okay because I think the kids have done really well, and so you should be proud too as parents. And the future of what we're going to be able to do. So the next program. You're going to hear the high school perform 2 numbers, and then you'll hear Brandenburg combine 8th grade and high school, and that'll give you kind of a taste of what orchestra will kind of be like next year. And then we'll begin with Game of Thrones. So thank you guys, and if I don't get to say anything to you after the concert, thank you very much for sitting quietly being patient through all the logistics and everything. And I hope that you guys have a good weekend. Before we get our final number, I want to make sure that I recognize the seniors that are going to be leaving and embarking on the next adventure of their life. When you step into a new scenario, it's really nice to be able to have some strong players to lean on, to be able to do some things with. And we certainly have those. We've had some that really stepped to the level that I'm really happy with. But the first blessing that we had was, I don't know if the first, I don't know if we really read it that way, but in the introduction is right there in front of me. It was super, thank you, man. Appreciate it. And this year, even though I didn't have her last year, Amber Beatty is actually graduating a year early, aren't you? So I'm calling her senior anyway, but she's a leader. And every time I ask for anything to be done, she's right on. Where some of the other seniors are like, well, I've done my time, which is kind of okay. Amber's like, I got this thing, this is weird. And so that is really nice to have, because it's kind of like having April there with me when I'm like, don't know what's going on, somebody's there to just take care of it. Amber has been like that truly this year, so thank you very much. And Joey O'Neill's been running all over the place, literally, as everybody's multi-talented, but this guy's like Forrest Gump runs, like all over the place. And so, there's been a few times where we had to work out some scheduling things. Sometimes it works, sometimes not, but that's just the way of it. And I would rather a kid actually have something like something real they're trying to work out than something I just don't want to do something, you know what I mean? And so they just don't work it out. He's really had some things that he's shuffled around, and I appreciate that. And I'm going to miss all 4 of these seniors, but I'm sorry, I didn't even know Charles was a senior until like this year, because I thought last year was awful. So once you learn something, you're right, once you learn something, it's hard to not see it through that, like, you're not a senior lens. But Charles, Chucky, that's what Mr. Mendez calls him, but he tells me not to call him that. So anyway, I really appreciate great guitarist, cello player, and for some of these students, they're not going very far away. And I've told the high school kids several times that when you get good enough to be able to play weddings, because the stuff that I play for weddings isn't really all that harder than some of the stuff that we've been playing here. People don't know. And some of these kids, some of the students have actually taught students. They play with me with some gigs, made some real money, and so they're not very far away. I'll probably call them from time to time. And one of the things I like to do is start kind of a community group that's kind of unaffiliated with school, so that kids have something to do when they're not actually, at school. So thank you guys for all 5 of you seniors. I'm sorry that I let you out, Charles. But I really appreciate all the hard work everybody does. Everybody's working hard to kind of like get there to the level that I kind of dream about, and I very much appreciate it. So thank you guys for being patient. I thought the concert would be like 40 minutes. I worked hard to do it. I've got good attention, so you have to forgive. And I hope you enjoy this last number, game number. Ready? Question about the trip?